Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. Let's talk a little bit about the future of this channel, the second channel, the channel which for 3 years was TotalBiscuit's Starcraft and Axiom Esports. Of course, for those of you who are not aware, Axiom Esports shut down in the winter of last year. After a 3-year run, we decided to wrap things up, mostly for financial reasons. The commitment, the massive commitment that we were making towards the team, plus the amount of time it was taking out of my schedule when I was then having to deal with the resurgence of cancer, was making the whole thing effectively impossible. And also, the huge financial outlay in order to keep the team running was putting me at risk. You know, I need to be able to have that money available just in case I need to take some kind of treatment that's very expensive. I need to cover my medical costs and all that sort of thing. So it made sense at the time, especially when 2 of our guys were pretty much ready to go to do their mandatory military service in South Korea to close the team down. Which means this channel has kind of laid dormant ever since the SanDisk tournament at the start of Legacy of the Void. So the first big question is this: have I stopped doing StarCraft entirely? Well, the answer is no. After DreamHack Austin, where I cast for 3 days, and I'll put the link to the VoDs in the description below this video. They're not on this channel or on DreamHacks if you want to check them out. I certainly want to cast more. I still love the game. I think it's a great game. I think balance-wise and in terms of gameplay, it's probably in the best place it's ever been. So I think that the game certainly deserves support, and I don't really want to leave the scene just yet. But the question at that point becomes, well, what kind of content can I produce on a semi-regular basis? And the answer that came to my head was a tournament of some description, a monthly tournament. I don't want to tell you too much more about that because we're still sorting a couple of things out. We've got contracts to sign with sponsors and a few things to put in place, but it's going to be a little bit different, as our stuff pretty much always is. It's going to be a format that is very infrequently used, but we're going to use said format at the highest level. It's not going to be too gimmicky. It's not going to be a Clan Wars. Some people are going to be very sad that it's not a Clan Wars, but as we said, Clan Wars ended up being very difficult to organize and teams weren't playing ball with it, so we ended up having too many cancelled shows. The whole thing became an absolute mess. So we're doing something that's a little bit more accessible to the players, but it's still a very interesting format with a unique twist on it. But it will be, hopefully, some very high-level StarCraft one way or the other. I'm really looking forward to launching it. It's going to hopefully be launching in just over a month's time, and I think it's going to be great. Hopefully people will enjoy it. It will also be streamed on Twitch, as opposed to MLG, so those of you who had issues tuning into MLG, you will not have that anymore, and of course the VoDs will be posted here. So that will be StarCraft content, that will be regular StarCraft content. However, that's not all I want to do with this channel, because I'm not doing enough StarCraft anymore, and I don't really have the time to do enough StarCraft anymore to really justify running an entire channel based on it. And you don't find channels that are all that successful when they're not regularly posting content. There are a couple of other StarCraft-related things I would like to do. For instance, I'd like to look a little bit more at the modding scene. There are some really cool mods available, and the mods for StarCraft are, of course, free to play. You don't even need to own the game to play them. So I want to take a little bit of a look at that, try to highlight some cool mods you can play and all that sort of thing. And, of course, when I decide to stream ladder, when I'm not utterly terrible at it, the last ladder stream didn't go so well, I'm afraid. It wasn't fun to watch. It was pretty salty. It's because I was basically playing people that were way, way better than me, and I'd been out of practice for about 6 months. So you'll get a little bit of that here and there. But what I also want to do is I want to post content from other strategy games of some description. I want to turn this sort of into my strategy channel. RTS has always been my favorite genre. It's a genre that I'm not very good at, but it's a genre that I have a lot of fun with, and I want to go and re-explore some classic RTS. I think RTS in particular have an incredible shelf life. They're very much worth revisiting, especially when they have good campaigns. So I want to jump into some older games and point out what made them great and sort of languish in a nostalgia pit, if you will. But I would also like to, and this is what's going to really piss people off, I would like to also post content for Clash Royale. Now, yes, you might be saying Clash Royale is a mobile game. What is it doing on this channel? Well, it is a mobile strategy game, and it's also a game that is growing a lot of esports and competitive viewership very quickly, and it's a game that I've been playing since before the game even launched. It's not something that I'm really jumping on in terms of a bandwagon. I had beta access for that game and got hooked on it, and I play it on a daily basis, and I'm actually playing most mostly against the Koreans. I play in the legendary rank arena, which is the highest rank arena, and I play mostly against Korean and Chinese players at a relatively high level. You know, not as high as I could be, certainly, but I'm pretty good at it. I'm decent at it. And I actually find it very exciting to watch, too. I think it's got that Hearthstone aspect to it, where it's nice and quick, it's easy to understand, you never truly know what's coming next. But it's also a strategy game, and positioning is very important, and timing is very important, and understanding the advantage that you can gain from great trades is very important. You might say, oh, it's a casual game. Well, yeah, it kind of is, in a way, but it's still a strategy game, and it's an enjoyable one. And I think that I could actually be a pretty good caster for it, because I understand the game relatively well. Plus, I can post my own replays, which are hopefully pretty fun to watch as well, and maybe give a few little bits of advice here and there. What would be nice is that if I am able to catch the eye of the Clash Royale audience, I can also show them, hey, StarCraft, you know? I think Clash Royale is a pretty cool gateway into real-time strategy. You know, it's got some of the aspects that make RTS great, but it's way, way more accessible, way simpler. It would be interesting to talk to that audience and say, well, if you like that, well, maybe you should watch some StarCraft. Maybe try it out. You know, it's free to play. Give it a shot. I mean, hell, Clash Royale was inspired by a mod for Warcraft 3, so really, you're just coming back home, let's be honest here. So I'd like to post some content for that. What I'd also like to do is maybe start doing a few of the daily runs for Offworld Trading Company, which is an economic real-time strategy that's very different to something like StarCraft, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it provides a daily challenge that is different every time. And I'd like to present that. I thought that would be pretty cool. I'm really getting into Offworld Trading Company. So those are the sort of 4 different kinds of content that I'm thinking about experimenting with. The StarCraft mod content, the old school RTS content, the Clash Royale content, and the Offworld Trading Company content, which would be in addition to this monthly tournament and any StarCraft ladder streams that I'm planning on doing. I want to really fill this channel out again, but I've got to be able to do it in a way that's sustainable. I can't just keep making tournaments on a weekly basis. The amount of time it takes is astronomical, but I would love to get some more casts on this channel when I can, because I think StarCraft is a beautiful game. It's really, in terms of its gameplay, in the best state it's ever been, and that's why it makes me very sad that viewership is stagnant, and really, I think it's certainly my duty, alongside others, to try and give it a little bit of a boost, try and hoist it up on our shoulders, because it was really the original Western esport game. It's what really started it all over in the Western scene in a big way. And I don't think it should be disappearing anytime soon. My name has been TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for listening, and of course, over the next few weeks, we'll be firing up the content again and bringing you some new stuff here on TotalBiscuit Starcraft and Strategy, as it's now called. I'll see you next time.